Now, if you're looking up something from the Old Testament, the Tanakh, it would be in the Hebrew section of your Strong's Concordance. So let's move the camera back over here. And this is if you don't have a computer. Even with my computer, I still use my books as well. So then you go to the Hebrew section of your Strong's Concordance, and what it was 4467. Right? Yeah, 4467. And what I'll actually do is match each and every single letter and see if it's the same word that's being used, as far as the interlinear is concerned. So if I see a word in the interlinear Bible, and then I'm trying to look it up in the Strong's, what I'll do is, when I find it in the Strong's, as soon as I find it, okay, when I find it in the Strong's, I'll compare each individual letter as far as the word that's in the Strong's and the word that's in the interlinear in the Hebrew, not in the English, in the Hebrew. I will match every individual letter to see if this is actually the same word and the same definition that these books are talking about. Because sometimes it will be, it won't be this the same exact word. For instance, I wish I could find it right now. I forgot exactly. I marked it somewhere in my book, but it was one particular place where in the Hebrew it was supposed to be talking about matzah, but it was actually talking about mitzvot. And the only reason I found that out is because I counted and I looked at every individual letter as far as how it looks in the Strong's Concordance and how it looked in the interlinear. And I saw that there was like a letter or two letter difference. So I knew and understood the word that was inserted in the English, the word that was inserted in the Hebrew and the Strong's, and the word that was inserted in the Hebrew and the interlinear were actually a different word. One was matzah and the other one was mitzvot. So now we look up the definition from these two different words. Matzah being unleavened bread and mitzvot being commandments or statutes. So these are the methods that I use to study, and I'm just basically posting this so maybe it can help somebody else, or people can even surpass my methods of study. But this is just basically a beginning, and me just sharing with people on my methods of study and how I believe we should put the proper definition with the proper context of Scripture. If we know and understand that a Trinity understanding, or any understanding that we may have as far as Scripture is concerned, doesn't match that particular culture, the Hebrew culture, for instance, if we study the Hebrew culture and Trinity and rapture and all these different ideas is not supported by that culture, of course these people wouldn't be writing about something that, as far as the Scripture is concerned, I mean, if they're writing fairy tales or whatever, then they probably would write outside of their culture. But as far as the Scripture is concerned, if this doesn't comply with their culture, I see it highly unlikely that they would document these things for teachings and instructions of Yah. For instance, you go to the Encyclopedia in Carter, and you type in the word Trinity, and you don't see this being part of the Hebrew culture. It says Trinity Christian theology, Trinity Egyptian theology, Trinity Hindu theology, You don't really see this as part of Hebrew understanding. You see this from a lot of other places, as far as the Celtics are concerned, with the three-leaf clover on St. Patrick's Day. You see the Trinity in Egyptian theology, as far as Horus. What is it? What is the? Okay, let's see if we could find Horus, Isis, and another one. I think it's their son or something like that. I can't find it. Oh, okay. Yeah, Horus, Osiris, Isis, and Horus. This was actually, a Trinity belief system in the Egyptian theology, but we don't see this type of understanding in as far as the Hebrew cultures is concerned. And if I'm in error, then someone can show me. I don't, I'm all for that. So basically, this was just a brief illustration of how I do my studies, and hopefully it will help someone else out on how to begin their studies. And oh yeah, I have another thing here, and this is a little bit more advanced. This comes later on. This is a chart of I'm sure you guys have seen some of Jeff Benner's videos. And this is a chart of the Paleo Hebrew. Sometimes I use this, sometimes I don't. I mean, I'm still studying how to, discern the, have an understanding of the Paleo Hebrew and stuff. But this is my own little personal dictionary as far as the Paleo Hebrew is concerned. I got this off of Jeff Benner's website, and he lists all the Paleo Hebrew words and letters, and then he lists the definitions. And that's another thing that we would have to consider, the context of the chapter, in order to make the connection between the Paleo definitions. And with that being said, this is my method of study. I'm not saying it's better than anyone else's. This is not a challenge. This is just me sharing with someone that is interested in having an understanding of what tools to use, and the method, a beginning method of how to use them. This is what this is about. It's an illustration of how to play that out. Like I said, later on in your studies, I'm sure you will become more advanced than I. You may have actual papyruses, or like I said, you can fast for days at a time, to cleanse your spirit, to let Yah work with you. You may pray for the whole week, or whatever method it is. I'm sure your methods may surpass mine. And with that being said, Yahweh bless you. May he shine his face upon you and grant you his shalom.